This is what it's all about, guys. So when we look at what Royal Life is, the big question I have for you is that, do you really believe that it's more strategies and tactics that are going to get you to the next level, whatever you're trying to get to? Is that what you're really missing? Are you really missing that I need one other magic strategy or tactic? And if I only knew that one thing, that's what's going to give me the breakthrough that I'm looking for. If the answer to this question is no, then this is what I believe it actually is. It's implementing elite execution state of being practices that should cut your work time by 50% and learn how to do that over the course of 3 months. We can see that these kinds of things are obvious to us, right? I think it's almost laughable now when we get on Zoom meetings, isn't it? That everybody says, well, how are you doing, right? And they're like, oh, I'm so busy. And we just accept that as an answer about how busy we are over the time. And behind that statement is like, I'm busy. It's like, I'm so overworked. I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. I don't really want to talk about it though. We're all just going to kind of laugh about how crazy all of this feels, because nobody really knows how to deal with it yet. There's another thing to me that seems to be true is that we all want to break through the next level. Whatever level we're at, we realize that there's another, we can feel it, that there's another level that's above us that we want to break into. The level that got us to where we're at right now is very likely mastering strategies and tactics. And whatever field that you do that you have success in, I bet you could go teach a class on it. That was on, here's the strategic and tactical level about how you do real estate investing, how you do the type of business that you do, whatever the case may be. But if you're like me, when you see the advertisements that get served to you on Instagram and everywhere else in the world, and it's like, hey, here's the 38 tips to go do whatever. Or I'll type it into ChatGPT. How am I supposed to solve this problem in my life? Great. Well, it gives me a laundry list of tactics, a laundry list of tactics that are, somehow in a strategy that I could use. But like, which of those tactics do I really need to use? How do I know which one's going to be effective? How do I do any of that? Am I just randomly picking stuff? That sounds exhausting. That doesn't seem like that would work. And so what typically happens is we get fatigue. We really want to get to this next level, but we're not sure how to get there. And the best things that people are able to serve to us, more strategies and tactics, we don't believe is really going to do it. So what do? Well, you have to understand the basics of what's really going on. Because what you're really trying to do is create something that's new, yeah? And in the process looking to create something new, there's really only two things that go into looking to create something that's new. There's the energy that you have, that you're born with every day when you wake up and you say, here I am, I'm back. I'm back in this body and I'm up again. Okay, I got this energy. And then there's the strategies and tactics that you use to go create whatever it is that you're looking to create, whatever is the external experience in life you're looking to create. And that could be anything. It could be time with your family. It could be more money in your business. It could be better investments. It could be whatever. All of those boil down to certain strategies and tactics that you believe that if you put your energy into it, that you're born with every day, it's going to create some type of experience, some type of result in your life. So in the strategies and tactics that we have, there's typically two general groups, right? There's the general, which is like, hey, are you doing, your goal setting, your habit tracking? These are organizational types of activities, right? And then there's industry specific strategies and tactics. That's okay, great. I know I need to, go, review that 2 real estate deals today. And then I have specific tactics on how I'm going to review those deals. How am I going to do the underwriting for those particular deals? If what you were trying to do was real estate investing, for example, but it can apply to anything. So when we look at the equation of energy times strategies and tactics equals creation, is there anything missing? The answer to that question is yes. And I already gave you the answer in the very, very beginning, if you remember what it was. Is there anything that influences strategies and tactics? Because we know strategies and tactics is effective because it's giving you the level of success that you have now. And if you can get really good at strategies and tactics and organization, that's going to give you tremendous amounts of success just that alone. But there actually is another X factor that's above that, that if you're not doing will give you a whole nother level of breakthrough. And what that is a state of being. Your state of being is your mental or emotional state as you perform the activity. So quick example of how this works, right? Is imagine that like life presents itself, a situation to you that you need to go solve, right? And that the place from which that you're going to go solve that is you're really pissed off. You're angry. Are you effective about being able to go solve that issue when you're angry? Yes, you are. You've done it. You've been annoyed by the thing and angry about the thing and went to go solve that issue. And it's effective. There's no doubt about it. It's effective at solving that issue. But what also happens? Well, because I did it this way and I said these things, Carol got pissed off about me. And because I was angry, I actually couldn't see the full scope of the circumstance. So the way that I solved that issue actually caused me a bunch more problems, things that I couldn't see, because the nature of anger is to be able to close us off, right? Stress levels spike, limits the amount of information that we're able to get a hold of, right? So I solved the issue, but what did I also do is I also created a bunch more messes for myself, like along the way. So I did my strategies and tactics. I was organized in the way that I approached it, but the state of being that I had when I did it actually created more problems. And I'd like to offer you this idea that it's perhaps that's the reason why you're always so freaking busy, is because every issue you look to go solve in life, you are creating more issues that you have to solve the next day. And that it is a snowball of problems. And I can tell you that I've applied these principles to myself, and I'll tell you that the people like me who have diligently worked on how to have effective execution and do it with the right state of being, the things we tell ourselves is, I never could have believed how much time I have. I almost don't know what to do with it because I have so much time now. So it's not just what you do, it's what place you do it from. Life presents itself with some type of issue. You can act from an anger to solve the problem. Yes. Does it start fire along the way? Yes. Is anger effective? Of course it is. But it's holistically costly. And the holistic view of life, it becomes a very costly way to be able to go solve that problem. So the question then becomes is if you could choose your state of being from which you take action to resolve the issue, what would you choose? What would be the state of being from which to go solve that issue or work on that issue or employ that tactic that's less costly and more holistically effective? Is there a state of being that allows you to do that costs you less and is actually more effective? So beyond knowing what to do, the strategy and tactic to do, and being organized about what that is, remember, you'll get great success just about being able to do that. You also need to learn how to control the place from which you do it, which is a state of being. If you want to be an elite performer on the top 1/1000th of 1% of people that know how to be effective about being able to create things, this is what they know how to do. So here you go. This is the choice that you have. You can do nothing, and nothing will actually change for you. Likely your wealth and your income will likely stay about the same. It may marginally increase. You might be one of the lucky few that hits on the circumstances of life that, hey, I happen to get into the markets at the right time, or I happen to pick the right business that, had things shift and go the right time. That's like living off of the hopium of life. And you can do nothing and you continue to want more and not experience what it's like to be a super creator and be able to experience the fastest way to get it. And you're going to lose time. You're going to lose time that you can never get back because you're less than optimally effective about being able to create the life experience you want. And you may never actually get the life experience you want or be able to approach it as much as you can. So you can either do that, or you can learn how to control your state of being, learn how to organize yourself appropriately, put yourself in the top 1% of the successful people out there, of the effective people. And regardless of how technologies or markets or circumstances changes, you will always be in the quote unquote successful crowd, because you know how to do things that other people don't know how to do, which is called control your mind and control your state of being, control your focus. So we've worked with a couple of people. Some of these people are actually in here before. I had the Royal Life group, which you guys are in there. I sent you guys the link before. I'm gonna have a screenshot of that later, but these are some of the people I worked with individually here. So these are all community members from the Royal Life group. So if you have questions about what this is like to work with one-on-one in this capacity, these are great people to reach out to. And the real question that comes to, I think, at this point is, is this really describe you? I think this described the people that I was working with that I just showed you. And if this describes you, you're probably already successful and you're wanting to get to the next level. You suspect that the ultra successful people that you read about or study know something that you don't, have been trained in something that you'd like to have. And you probably suspect that accomplishing what you want or could or should have would be a lot easier than you find it to be. That the experience of building and creating could be a lot easier than what you're currently experiencing. And you hate the possibility that there is a better approach out there, but you're not doing it. That you want to be doing the best things you could possibly be doing. And you believe that the difference between where you're at now and where those ultra successful people are operating from is more than just some magic strategy or tactic, that if you just knew that thing, everything would change. And that you believe that better control over your actions and better control over the influence of your thoughts and feelings that drive into those actions would be positive. You probably also believe that there's some type of accountability that's needed, some type of coaching that's needed to be able to deliver those types of results. So here's the simple truth and the core concept. At the crux of everything that we're doing, there's only thoughts and actions. And if you can learn to optimize your thinking, the way that your mind works, and you can learn to optimize your actions, that will make you the highest creator that you're actually capable of being in this life. You've already experienced what this is like because you know the converse. The converse is when you'll feel crazy on the inside and your emotions are crazy and your thoughts are crazy, how capable are you actually able to do anything in the real world and actually accomplish what it is that you're looking to do? So you know that what the downside looks like, you know what your baseline is. You say, and what I'm offering today is there's that whole nother level that you probably suspect that's there, but you don't know how to get there. And that's what Royal Life is all about. Royal Life is actually a not-for-profit company that I created. It's the only company I know of that's dedicated to this holistic system of support to help people grow their energy level, their execution skills, and their state of being to become super performers. And I'm not talking about one breakthrough. I'm talking about a system that you can learn to have continuous breakthroughs to the next level. As you get to one level of achievement, you will then find that there's another level of achievement that's above that. That the gradations of the ability to control your mind and your state of being and channel all that into actions is not a switch. It is a continuous state of improvement. However, inside of just 3 months, you're going to be able to experience what it's like to make that first big breakthrough. Because being able to go from being able to shoot a basketball at all to being able to hit a free throw is a massive difference, isn't it? Yeah, but it's not the same as being able to consistently hit 3-pointers, right? That's the kind of difference that we're talking about here. So what we're talking about here is how to be a super performer. And I want to share with you a little bit about my life story to know where do I come from as a person that's had to live through this, right? Because I actually had to live through not being able to control most of my thoughts and emotional beings and state of action, right? I was raised in a cult. I don't know if you guys know that, but I was raised in a highly religious household that was very dogmatic around like what rules. My mother was highly dysfunctional. My father committed suicide when he was 3. As I was raised through life, I didn't really know how to make friends. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. I was a pretty angry kid pretty much all of the time. And even after graduating college, I mean, I struggled because I wasn't able to, I had a Spanish degree. Couldn't really get any type of like normal job that I was interested in doing. So I was cage fighting. I was tutoring, kids. And at those times in my life, I was suffering with drinking way too much and suffering with depression. And this is, there came a point for me where I had to really look at it and saying like, hey, do I really want this to be my life? Because it looks down the path I'm really going on, I'm not really too interested in doing this anymore. And I had to make a choice and said, well, yeah, actually, I do want to make a change. I want to make a change, and how am I going to start making a change? And I'll tell you that the changes come small, and they come really small when you don't have a guide and somebody that's really walked the path to really show you. So I found people that knew little bits and pieces, and I found great books, and I really started to work and changing my mindset and changing my ability of how I was showing up in the world. And that led me to be able to apply and attend law school. And during law school, I actually bought my first business, which was an auto repair shop and commercial building that I bought my second year of law school. It actually got me started on my path to being a real estate investor and a business owner. I continued to invest in real estate after law school, and I went and I worked as an attorney. I was a successful litigator at the trial and appellate court. And I accomplished the thing that everybody told me, in life, that once I had this thing that I would finally be happy, which was the final financial freedom through real estate investing. And at this point in my life, things are actually really good, right? I had gone through the really big down spikes that happened before. I was successfully building my mindset and my skill sets. I was stacking up levels of success on a professional level as well as an investing level. And as you can tell from the way I'm telling the story, is what I really started to get interested in was the questions of what's the best possible life that I can create for myself. And I was like, great, well, I think it's financial freedom. I think that it's this thing. And yeah, that is really big. It's really big to hit a financial freedom goal. But then you also, that as I've told you guys here, there's more things to it, right? It's not just about being able to create the income. You have to be able to manage the wealth. You have to be able to get the time. You have to have people that are watching your back for you, so that way you can really be at peace and settle down and being able to enjoy life more. And as I built that for myself, I realized this is actually what I wanted to do. I wanted to build a company that actually helped other people have the kind of financial experience, investing experience, and lifestyle that I was able to create for myself. And then I built that company into a multi-million-dollar revenue stream with decentralized staff and over 2,000 investor clients across the country. And in the meantime, my lifestyle was doing things that I always wanted to do. It was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, global traveling, living for, months at a time with tribal people to learn from them. What did they know about life that maybe I wasn't aware of? Maybe they knew some things that would help me be able to live a better life in my pursuit of saying, what's the best life that I can possibly live? And at the end of the day, when I tell you is that it all comes down to the execution. When I really look back and reflect on it, all comes down to the execution, because these are all the things that I did before. When you look at all the old way, those are all of the things that I did. I read the books, I did the workbooks without accountability, and the weekend courses and the online courses. And I did the small groups, those pods of 3 to 4 people that were just kind of random. And I was like, God, I don't really jive with these people. And you get the watered down group coaching that just has the same stuff that you've read 1,000 times. There's nothing new in there. And if you've experienced that before, you probably felt what I did, which I was just getting really frustrated. I get little nuggets here and there, but overall it was pretty frustrating that there wasn't really much actionable information in there, and that I wasn't really around peers. I was around people that were at a level that they were either way too low or way too high. They weren't at the right level, to be able to have a shared common experience with me, to be able to work through the stuff that I was working through, either as an investor or a business owner or my own personal development, whatever the case may be. And it felt like I was wasting time. And I was just doing a lot of stuff, hoping I was going to find that one little thing that was going to happen. And, over time, what it started to feel like is that I was starting to lose faith that, that it factor was ever going to be really different. And that whole thing changed for me once I came to the realization is that it wasn't a strategy or tactic I was looking for. It was the execution and state of being. Then that became the piece that I was like, oh, this is the game changer. And that's why, here, this is the new way. The new way to get these things to shift quickly for you is instead of having to do all of those hundreds and hundreds of hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars of training that I did, the new way to do this, to accomplish and learn these skills, is an online course. And it's an online course by someone who's walked the walk, that has the types of life experience or skill set development that you hope to create for yourself, and that they didn't have it before. They weren't born with it, and then they had to go build it themselves. Those are the people that typically know how to teach something, because if you're born an Olympic swimmer, by default, you can't really teach it. But if you were a terrible swimmer and learned how to swim, that's somebody that can really teach it. So you want an online course by somebody that has that kind of background. You want weekly homework so you can study on your own, because you need quiet time to be able to reflect on really good information that's dense information on your own. Then you want to meet with pods of people that are curated people that are generally on the same level that you are. So you have a true peer group. That means that those people need to be interviewed to be able to ensure that they're going to be at the appropriate range there. And that helps you take whatever you learned and then be able to reflect on that as a group, so you can learn from what other people saw that you didn't see, and vice versa. Then you need group coaching from somebody, whoever is the person that created the course, the group coaching, to take whatever learning was that you learned in the course, and then what are the X factors, those extra little gems that person knows about or that can add to it, depending upon whatever is live inside of the group at that time. Because the information and the teaching is always dependent to some degree upon what's alive. What are the circumstances of the issues that are trying to be addressed by the group? So group coaching by that individual, that creator individual, is important. And then one-on-one support, if you can possibly get it, is going to be one of the most important things, because there's going to be times at which you're going to feel stuck, that your pod isn't going to be able to help you solve that issue, and that the group session is too far away, and you need the support right then to help you shift or move through whatever is the thing that you're getting stuck on. So if at all you can ever get one-on-one support, that is always very, very helpful, and being able to drive whatever it is you're learning into actual real life implementation. The result when you do this kind of approach to learning, especially learning things that are like this, that are a combination of hard skills and soft skills, is that you're getting incremental understanding that builds over time. So it'll feel really easy at the beginning, and it should. And because it all builds like Lego blocks, and this is your incremental understanding as that increases. And so what this means is you should experience consistent improvement over time. You should be able to reflect on this with an on-level peer group that has both small and large group context, to be able to pull in additional points of reference about the learning and the application of learning into real life scenarios. You're also going to want to be very clear about what it is that you need to be doing. What's your point of focus at any given time, right? Most of life can feel like it's reflexive. Things hit us and then we do things, right? And the things that we do are typically out of our habits. But if you always know what you need to be doing, you always know what your point of focus needs to be, then what that allows you to do is the thing happens, instead of acting reflexively out of habit, you pull upon that point of focus, and it allows you to be able to make a shift to actually do something different in that moment than you would have done based upon the habit of the things that you've developed in your life, which keep giving you the same results. If you want a different result, you have to be able to establish a different awareness, a different point of focus before you take the action. And what you should also have a result is feeling proactive and you're supported no matter what life throws at you. So from this type of training, it's a proactive approach instead of reactive, that I'm priming my mindset and state of being before the event happens that I'm going to need to go solve. So I'm in the best possible position to go solve it. And no matter what life throws at me, I have an awareness and a focus, and I also have a support network. So no matter what life throws at me, I'm going to have the proper resources to be able to deal with it in the best way that I possibly can, which will also mean that I'm going to learn and grow as fast as possible too. So these are some of the tools that we have developed. Everybody has seen here from inside of the course. This is the Royal Life course. You can see here, this is the little blue book, is this link that's inside of the course. That's actually this book here. It's the book here that I'm holding in front of the camera. That's the book we work out of that helps us set all of our goals, our weekly to-dos, our habit building, all of those things that are the organizational general strategies that come in, that I've studied over, looking at over 100 entrepreneurs and studying them about, what are the common points that these men and women did that led them to be amazing about being able to organize their time and focus. So the coursework will help, that you can see here from like the 6 fishes, for example, is a part of the blue book to deep dive you through the blue book to understand what is the organizational structure of this book and study that. We will be working off of the blue book because the blue book is our execution tool. And what we're about here is being able to change things in the real world. What we also do, we'll also have pods. The pods will be 3 to 4 people, and we'll have, facilitated communication to some degree with those pods. And then there's a one-on-one direct voicage messaging support via Voxer with me. So these are the ways that we're covering off on us, from the group coaching, the small pods, the individual support via Voxer, the online course here through the Vault, and your tool, your primary tool, which is the blue book. So here's your steps to success. Over 3 months, you will experience radical improvement by studying the online course, using the Royal Life Planner for organization and execution, participating in your 3 to 4 team member pod for accountability and discussion, attending the group coaching to channel your awareness and have self-reflection, become more aware of what needs to shift, how you're going to shift it, what experiences other people are having shifted, what are the benefits they had from working on shifting it, and then soliciting one-on-one support from me whenever you feel stuck on the Voxer app. And this is the way that we have it structured. These are all the things that I just told you, that everything here is included inside of the membership. The requested donation is a tax-deductible donation of $300 a month to Royal Life. Now, here's the commitment. The commitment I make to everybody, it says, if you're wanting to do this work, and that $300 a month is puts you in a financial place where you're like, man, I can't do this because it's going to put me on tilt here, right? To do this for 3 months. That's okay, right? I understand that in life, it's sometimes people run into times where they're like, those dollars are, I'm having to cut it close with that. So anybody that is in that kind of position, or a position where the money is a piece that holds them back and they can't make that kind of donation, that's fine. As long as you commit at least $1. Because here's what I need. I need everybody that shows up to do this work with me to show up. It is not easy to do this work. It is difficult. It doesn't take a lot of time, but you will run into a place where you'll say, I don't know why this feels difficult for me to do. And don't worry about the whys yet, about why that's happening. Part of it's just because you're stubborn, right? You don't know you're stubborn. That's okay, right? But in shifting these things, it can be like that, right? So everybody, I need everybody to show up. One of the ways to make sure that everybody shows up is to say that, hey, we're committed to it, to at least that degree with it. So what we're doing now is we're taking, we have a number of people that have already signed up. And the way that the group launches is it launches in cohorts. So it'll be groups of 20 people. We're looking to fill the first group of 20 now. And then we will close that group. We'll run that group for 3 months, see where that group is at, to say, what do we need to do next? And then we'll be able to make decisions on if and when to allow more people into that group, or what do we want to do next in terms of like hosting live events with those group members in some type of like retreat capacity or something of that sort.